So I've had a number of you ask for a more in-depth look at the brush libraries in Procreate. So today we're going to slow it down and walk through it all step by step, of course, and I'll show you how to create your own brush libraries, how to move individual brushes, how to move entire brush sets, and how to start organizing everything in a way that actually makes sense for the way you draw. Actually, I need to do some organization too, so this is going to help me out. So if your brushes feel a little scattered or overwhelming, this video should help you feel much more organized. Let's get to it. Before we start organizing, I think it's really helps to understand the three main levels of the brushes and the brush libraries. So in Procreate, you have brush libraries, brush sets, and individual brushes. So think of a brush library like a big cupboard. Inside that cupboard, you have brush sets, which are just like baskets or containers. And inside each brush set, you have the actual individual brushes. So the order is brush library is the big overall container, brush sets are contained within them, like little containers, and inside of those are the individual brushes. So this matters because if you're trying to organize your brushes, you don't always need to move every single brush just one by one. A lot of the time, it's much easier to organize the larger brush sets first. So if you open your brushes, you will be in one library or another. Right now, I'm in my classic library. So to go back to see all of your libraries, you simply pinch together like this, and then you'll see them. Now you will probably have these two, Procreate Library and Classic Library at the very least. I have a few other ones that we'll go into, but you'll have these two most likely side by side unless you've added brush libraries already. So the newer one is the Procreate library. I have a few extras in here, so just don't mind that. It'll be all of these brushes. And again, you can just go back and forth just by tapping and pinching. So if your brush area feels different than it used to, this is probably why, because Procreate now has a larger library system instead of everything feeling just like one long list like it used to. So you can see mine is quite long. If you've used Procreate for a while or have imported brushes in the past, you'll most likely have this classic library. This is important because some of your older brushes or custom brush collections may be in here, found in this one, because this is where they were originally imported into. So before you start re-importing everything or assuming something is missing, just go and double check your classic library because it might be hiding in there. So you don't need to do anything different here, but if you do have the classic library and you have all your imported ones, this is where mine all live just because I've made all these brush sets and this is where they all live. And you can see that I've done a very poor job of organizing. So this is actually really good for me because we're going to do that together today. So the way I'm going to organize my brushes is the way I actually want to use them, which kind of makes sense. So for example, if you want collections like sketching and drawing, watercolor painting, texture and splatters, stamps and guides, see, I like having mine in categories like the products I make. So they have, it's a collection of a theme. So all my watercolor brushes, watercolor stamps would be together. That's how I would prefer to do it. Of course, you can have your everyday favorites, seasonal brushes, which I'm going to do, and project brushes, which I have as well. So it depends on how you want to do that or how you work best. But what I'm thinking for myself, of course, because I create brushes and courses, I might have a different organizational idea than you, but that's okay. The concept's still the same. So what I have here, I have my loose watercolor masterclass. This is the class that I'm just working on right now. So I just have the brushes that I need in there. So that makes that really simple for me and very clear to students looking at it. I'm not distracted by anything else. So that made sense to me. So I started there. Then I have my seasonal brushes, which I'm going to add to. So I have my Christmas brushes in here and I'm going to add my spring brushes in this mess over here that I have to sort out. I have floral brushes, so anything that to do with flowers, so that kind of makes sense to me. And then I'm going to also create sort of my character design. So I'm just going to tap on the plus sign, create new library, and I'm just going to say character brushes. Okay, so when you have open this, you'll see that there's an untitled set. It's like a placeholder, basically. So this has to have some sort of set in it, and of course you can add brushes there, but you can, that would be fine. You can go, and import a brush set like that. That would be totally normal. So you can create a new brush set. So you can import from files. Of course, that would come up and you can do that. And that would be simple to import into a new library, or I'm guessing that a lot of you have this issue where you actually want to move brushes and brush sets. So let's start by moving brush sets. So what I'm going to do is tap on where I have all this stuff. So I can go and find, let's see, CBB animal faces. So that's character brush box animal faces. That would be for me. So I'm going to hold it down with my finger, just hold it like this. With your other hand, pinch, and then go, still hold this, tap on the brush library here, and drop it in. Now you can get rid of this, because once we have a brush set, if you want to, it's because it's just blank. So we're just going to delete that, and that's fine. All right, we have the character faces in there. So I'm just going to pinch. I'm going to go back, open this up, and it is a one at a time kind of a thing. So I'm just going to drag and hold, pinch, find out where I need to go, and then just drop it and release in this list here. So we'll go again, classic library, find that, hold it, tap, and drop. Okay, so I have more brush sets that have character design, but that would be appropriate for that. But let's just go through here. Right now I have spring brushes, so those can be put in my seasonal. Let's find that. So we'll put it there. And let's see, my stamps, and tap, and drop. All right. Now you can do, if you wanted to, let's see, I've got like a test here. So let's just say this studio pen. So I can just still do this with one brush. So I can just take this. Now I can't just drop it in here because these are where the brush sets live. Remember, these are the containers. So it has to go in a container. So I can add a new one, create new set, and I can drag it in there if I wanted to do it like that. Now it has to go over here, okay? Or I can just, of course, drag it into one of the existing ones. Just make sure it opens up and you drag it in there, okay? So I'm just gonna go reverse that, go put it back where I found it. Classic library, back into the test. And you have to drop it into this right-hand side. That's where all the individual brushes live, not on the left where the containers live. You just want to be careful with the individual ones because they can kind of get lost. It's a little easy to lose them. There's a way to bring them back and find them again. Don't worry if you accidentally drop them somewhere. But you just want to make sure that you are really careful. Pinch, go into whatever library. Make sure you go into here, not here. Because if you do that, it should go, let me drop it here. It doesn't go anywhere, right? You're like, oh shoot, where'd it go? It is still back where you found it. So it didn't actually go anywhere because it unsuccessfully moved. So if you do accidentally drop it somewhere you're not supposed to, it should just pop back where it originally was. So if you have lost anything or you're trying to find something, there is a search option. So I know you can't see anything right now, but if you drag down, you'll see search comes up. So put anything like, pencil, so I've got loads, anything that has pencil in the title. So you just have to think about if you know anything about what it's called. Maybe, there's 6B pencil, watercolor, you'll find anything that has watercolor in the name. So that's an easy way to find it. And it searches all of the libraries, not just the classic library that you have open or whatever you have open. It will look for it there as well. So that's really handy. All right, another thing to look for, let's just open this one, seasonal brushes. Another way to make your brush library easier to use is the recent button here and pinned brushes. So if you have a look, you tap on recent, your most active ones of the day. So you can just go in there and that's an easy way to find things that you just had a minute ago. You could also pin them here. So if you swipe to the left, you'll see pin and you can just tag that there. So you see the little pin that comes up. So it'll stay in the recents. Now if you go to a regular brush, and you swipe left, you see that those options aren't there. This only happens in the recent brush set. So, and this of course changes as you use different brushes. So it will keep track of of what you're using. So you can pin it and unpin it. You can also, this is kind of cool, I just showed you that. If you go to find, it shows you what brush set it is in. Now this is contained within this library, this classic library. It changes for each library that you're in. See, like recent, because I haven't used anything from here, it's not going to show anything. So let's see, for instance here, these are the ones that I've been using the most recent. So it's just contained not within the entire library, but just within the specific libraries, the recents and the pinned actions here, and also finding them. So that's really useful if you're, using the same things over and over again, or you're having trouble finding them. And then you can pin them so they stay there as well. So my recommendation, what I'm going to do, because I'm going to recommend this to myself, is that I'm going to have my classic library and my Procreate library without anything new in it. So those are the native brushes to Procreate, and I'm going to keep them separate. I'm going to have all of my brushes that I've created or purchased in separate libraries, categorized in something that makes sense to me. So the seasonal, of course, it was making sense to me. A subject matter, especially because I have, like for instance, the flowers, and same with the characters too. They're image stamps, so they're very specific to a theme. So that's easy. And then of course the brushes that accompany them to paint that type of style. So that's really easy way for me to think about organizing them. Or of course, in this instance, doing a master class, it is a little bit nice and neat for students to look at that and not have this long scrolly list. So that is my goal. So I'm going to be going through here and setting this up, and I'll show you how what I come up with to get rid of all this stuff and have it all nice and organized. All right, I am organized. I'm feeling very good. I added a few more ones. I had more like dry media brushes and watercolor brushes, so I figured that was a good way to organize them as well. So you can also go and organize your libraries like this. So you can move them around and reorder them. Just kind of drag by the top, around where the name is roughly, if you can grab it. So just drag and hold and move it around. So you can organize like that as well. Just another note, if you want to move the order of these, you can. So you can just drag these and reorder them. So that's not a problem, just like you can reorder your brushes. So, and of course you can tap on this and rename if you'd like. You can tap on here and go back to libraries if you don't want to pinch. That's another way to do it. So hopefully that helps you. I mean, I feel a lot better working in here, just kind of knowing I have all my main bits that make sense to me, so I'm not scrolling forever, and I kind of know where to go depending on what project I'm going to be working on. So I really hope you found that helpful, and just makes it a little bit easier for you to just even your brain conceptualize where you would have put something, but always know that we have this wonderful search option, and of course checking out what your recent activity was in there as well. So hopefully that makes it a lot easier for you to use your brushes and find them a lot quicker. And that's it for today. So I hope it made brush libraries and Procreate feel a lot less mysterious, and it gave you a clearer way to organize your brushes so you can actually find the ones you love using and make it easier for when you're doing a specific project. Before you go, I'd love to know, are your Procreate brushes beautifully organized or are they a bit of a creative mess right now, kind of like mine were? Let me know in the comments, and also tell me what part of Procreate you'd like me to explain next. If you're brand new to Procreate, I have a free Procreate for Beginners course that walks you through the basics, all step by step, and I'll leave that for you in the description below. And if this video helped you, please give it a like and subscribe for more beginner-friendly Procreate tutorials. It really does help the channel grow. It makes such a huge difference, and it helps me making more videos like this for you. If you want to keep learning and feel even more confident, watch this next video over here. It's full of simple tips that will help you keep improving. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.